I'm glad to see you here. My name is Lindsay Natale. I'm a professional astrologer, and we are learning about what a natal chart even is. This is the second video in our series. In the first video, we talked about what a birth chart was, what it represents, and we realized that a birth chart, a natal chart, is simply a map of the sky at a specific moment in time. And if the birth chart is a sky map, the next natural question is going to appear: how do we create one for ourselves? How do we make these sky maps? So in this lesson, we're going to do exactly that. By the end of the video, you're going to know how to generate a birth chart for free for yourself, for your family, whoever gives you the information to open it up. Second, you're going to be learning how to locate the horizon line in your chart to determine the ascendant and the descendant. And third, you're going to locate your sun and your moon in your chart to determine whether the sun was above the horizon or below the horizon when you were born. And that observation is going to tell you whether your chart is a day chart or a night chart. So this is something that astrologers call sect, and we're not going to be interpreting anything yet, but it's something cool to notice or start getting into the mindset of analysis and interpretation as you're learning this chart system. The goal here is just to be recognizing the structure of the sky map and getting acquainted with it, whatever it even is. Okay, to open up your chart, you need to have three pieces of information. They're critical. Sorry, you kind of need all of them to get a map that's actually accurate to generate your birth chart. You can think of these as the coordinates that you need to recreate the sky. You're triangulating this moment going back into the past. The first one is going to be your birth date. Easy peasy. When were you born? This date's going to pinpoint where the planets were moving through the zodiac at the exact moment. So some planets move really, really fast. The moon is the fastest, and others are going to move very slow. Pluto's going to be the slowest. But in between, we have all the different planets. They move at different rates, and so they will be in a specific place at that date. That's the first step. The second piece of information is your birth time. Now, in the previous lesson, we talked about the eastern horizon, and that's where the sun rises, the planets rise, the moon rise, and they travel across the sky in the ecliptic. But this is the time is going to tell us what was rising on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. This is so important because it's the ascendant, it's the pinpoint of your generation into your incarnation, what was rising just like the sun rises. So it's a brand new moment of life. Okay, so that's the rising sign based on your time of birth. And because the earth rotates continuously, the rising sign changes every 2 hours. An accurate birth time is really important because the structure of the whole sign chart, any chart, but we're focusing on whole sign, is going to relate to that ascendant starting point being accurate. Now, the third piece of information is your birth location, the city, the state, the country where you were born. Why? Because somebody born in Los Angeles, California, is going to be born maybe at the same moment as somebody in Milan, Italy. But we're different places on the earth, which will create different visibility. The location is going to calculate where on earth you, as the experiencer, the observer, is going to be pulling in all this download of the planets from the moment that you're born. We're going to go to www.astro.com, Astrodienist. I'm not sure exactly how to say it. There's a lot of consonants there at the end. But you're going to create yourself an account. It's really great. It's free, and you will get so much information here. When you're ready, you're going to put in the birth data. Remember, you're going to need your birthday, your hour, the country, and the town. So we're going to put in a random person. I'm just going to make them up. Tessa. So I've created an avatar for us. This is Tessa, born on the 14th of October, 1975 at 5:15 p.m. USA, Bismarck, North Dakota. I don't know why, just made this person up. Here's where you have some options. You can just go straight to chart drawing ascendant, but because this is your first time, you probably should go to the extended chart selection because it can help you align with the type of houses that we're working with. So there are house systems here. Mine is set to default whole sign, but you can see there's a bunch of different ones. Placidus is very famous, but you want to go to the house system whole sign, click on that, make sure it's tropical, not sidereal or draconic, whatever that says. Make sure it's geocentric. And then all this other stuff doesn't really matter too much. What I would actually recommend is just doing the major aspects. You can turn Chiron off if you want to, if you don't want to look at that. But there's a lot of different stuff you can do there. But once you finally get the things you want to have to look at, you're going to pull your chart. And this is Tessa's chart. Fabulous. Here we go. This is the moment that she was born and all of the planets in the sky, where they were, all these different points, all these different things, all the zodiacs. This is not stuff you need to know yet. What we really want to focus in on, if you have your chart up, is to locate where your AC is, your AC/DC line. That's the ascendant and the descendant. Remember, I told you that on a chart, it's different than looking at a map. Usually, when we look at a flat map, we have the west is on the left and the right is going to be the east. This is the opposite. The east is here. So the west is going to be over here on the descendant line where everything sets. Easy way to remember that is that the sun always rises in the east, always sets in the west every single day. So this creates this horizon line for this particular moment in time. Now, everything that's above this line is what was above in the sky. Everything that's below is going to be not visible whatsoever. Now we need to understand one next thing, locating the sun and the moon. Remember, we were talking about how this is going to determine a lot of things. The main thing is called sect. We're going to find the symbol for the sun. The sun is super easy. It looks like a sun. It's a circle with a circle in it. We're going to decode all of these symbols and understand them more. But right now, just the first one you need to know is the sun. Notice where it appears. So if we know this is the horizon line, is it above the horizon or below the horizon? Well, for Tessa, we know it's above the horizon. When the sun is above the horizon, we know that it's visible in the sky. So Tessa was born when the sun was up in the sky. That means that all these other planets and points, well, some of them are never visible, but some of them will not be visible just because it's daytime. Some planets are very close to the sun. We're going to get into all this, but just to give you an idea, if the sun is out, the majority of the stuff is not visible. However, the moon, here's easy to find this one too. These the first two glyphs you're going to learn today. The moon, it looks like a crescent, and we can notice if it's above the horizon or below it. So we can see the moon was rising. It was just above the horizon. So the moon was actually visible. The next step is sect. If we see, oh, the moon is up and the sun is up. So is this a day chart or the night chart? Well, easy. It's always easy. If the sun is up, the sun is the boss. The sun is the superstar of every single thing. If the sun is up, pretty much nothing is going to be visible. It is a day chart. And if the sun was below this line, we'd know this was a night chart. Let's bring all of this together and see if we've accomplished what we set out to do in this video. Did we learn how to generate a birth chart? Yes. There's many places to do it, but the three things you need to know are your birth time, your location, and the date. Did we learn about the ascendant and the descendant, where they're located and what they represent in space and time? Yes. We know the ascendant is the eastern horizon where the planets rise, and the descendant is the western horizon where planets set. And together they form that horizon line in the chart. How do we locate the sun and the moon? The two glyphs that we learned today are the sun with the circle inside the circle. It looks like a sun. And the moon is a little crescent moon. Those are super easy to determine. And by finding those symbols in your chart, you can observe whether they are above or below the horizon. If the sun is above the horizon, that's all you need to know. It's a day chart. If the sun is below the horizon, it's a night chart. The moon doesn't really matter because the moon can be anywhere, anytime, any place, in any format. So that does not determine if it's a day or a night chart. Only the sun does. That's a distinction that we call sect. And it's the first instructional structural observation that astrologers are going to make when you analyze a chart. So now you will know when you look at your chart if it's a day chart or a night chart. In the next lesson, we're going to take the next step and we're going to learn how to read the chart wheel itself. We're not going to be analyzing anything yet, but we're going to start determining what are these pieces? What are the main pieces when we look at the circular diagram so you know exactly what you're looking at. It's a meaningful thing to be learning astrology for yourself. I'm so happy that you're doing this. And when you're ready, we're going to go on to the next lesson and I will see you there.